Let's face it, navigating visas is like trying to assemble furniture without instructions. You think you're almost done, but suddenly you've got 3 screws left, a panel facing the wrong way, and a growing sense of confusion. Now let's add Australia into the mix. Sun, beaches, job opportunities, and a visa system that's enough to make you question your life choices. But here's the good news. Sponsored visas in 2025. They're not as scary as they used to be. In fact, with a little know-how and the right strategy, they're actually doable. So in this video, we're going to break it all down how you can get yourself to Australia through employer sponsorship without losing your mind. Think of the employer sponsorship as you not crashing Australia's party, since you're being invited by someone who's already inside. That someone is usually a business or employer who says, "Hey, we need this person on our team. Let's get them in here." In technical terms, that's called employer sponsorship. And in 2025, it's still one of the most reliable ways to move to Australia if you don't already have permanent residency, family ties, or a winning lottery ticket. Why employer sponsorship is a big deal this year? Because Australia is running out of workers. Seriously, we're talking critical shortages in for certain occupations. The country is full of opportunity, but not enough people to fill some roles. And with many Aussies avoiding certain sectors, skilled migrants are in demand. You could be exactly what an employer is looking for. And the best part, sponsored visas are now slightly less bureaucratic than before. What are the visa options? Let's get the boring names out of the way first. These are the main employer-sponsored visas in 2025. Skills and Demand Visa, Subclass 482, Employer Nomination Scheme Visa, Subclass 186, and Skilled Employer-Sponsored Regional Visa, Subclass 494. Each of these visas has its quirks, but they all follow the same basic idea. Get a job offer, get sponsored, and get a visa. How do I even get a sponsorship? Here's where most people trip up. They think it's just about applying for jobs online and hoping someone says yes. Wrong. Getting sponsored is a mix of strategy, timing, and looking like a dream employee. It's not about spamming your resume everywhere. It's about being smart. Here's how to approach it. 1. Target the right industries. Healthcare, aged care, IT, trades, construction, education, hospitality. These are the golden ticket sectors in 2025. If your skill is in one of these and it's on the relevant occupation list, you're already in a strong position. 2. Don't apply like a robot. Generic CVs, mass emails, auto-generated cover letters. Employers in Australia value fit, not just skills. Tailor your application, show personality, and explain why you want to work for them, not just anyone. 3. Use LinkedIn like your career depends on it. Employers stalk you there. So make sure your profile is complete, has an Australian-style resume attached, and screams, "I'm competent and not weird." Bonus points if you engage in posts related to your industry. 4. Apply directly to companies that already sponsor. Not every business can sponsor, but many larger firms already do. Look up companies with current 482 or 186 sponsorship approvals. It's public info, and it saves you from wasting time. 5. Be upfront about your visa needs. Be honest in your cover letter or interview. Say, "I am open to sponsorship and meet all the criteria under the visa pathways." Employers don't want surprises. Do I need a skills assessment? Here's where it gets spicy. Maybe. If you're applying for a skills in demand visa and your occupation is on the relevant list, you might need a skills assessment to prove your qualifications are up to Australian standards. This usually applies to trades, like electricians or plumbers, teachers, nurses, and other regulated jobs. But if you're in IT, marketing, or finance, you might get away without it, depending on the visa stream and your experience. Always double-check with the Department of Home Affairs or a registered migration agent. English tests still a thing? Yes. Unfortunately, Australia still wants to know you can speak English. Most visas will require a test like IELTS, PTE, or TOEFL. The required score depends on the visa subclass and occupation, but if you're from an English-speaking country or you've studied there, you might be exempt. Just don't assume. Check the fine print. It's boring, but it saves time and money. Is sponsorship permanent or temporary? Depends on the visa. The 482 is temporary but renewable, and sometimes leads to PR after 2 to 3 years. The 186 is permanent from the start, but needs a higher salary and stricter conditions. The 494 locks you into a regional job, but leads to PR after 3 years if you behave. Translation: if you plan it right, sponsorship is your fast lane to permanent residency. It's not just a work visa, it's a stepping stone to staying in Australia for good. New in 2025, faster processing, more occupations. One major change this year: processing times for sponsored visas have improved. After years of pandemic-related backlogs and bureaucratic naps, the system has finally woken up. Some 482 visa streams are now being processed in under 4 weeks. Also, the occupation lists have expanded again, especially in regional areas. So, if your skill wasn't eligible last year, it might be now. And regional Australia, they're not just begging for workers. They're rolling out the red carpet, job offers, PR pathways, and in some cases, even relocation support. Who knew country towns could be that desperate? What about scams? Let's not be naive. Some people out there are offering guaranteed sponsorships in exchange for money. Here's a rule of thumb. If someone's asking you to pay for a job or visa guarantee, they're scamming you. Real employers don't ask you to pay for your own sponsorship. Yes, you might need to cover some visa costs, but if the job offer sounds shady, too good to be true, or comes with a dodgy WhatsApp link, run. Only trust legitimate companies and agents registered with Migration Agents Registration Authority. Pro tip: be job ready before you even apply. Imagine this. You apply for a job in Australia. They like you. They want to sponsor you. But you haven't done your English test. Don't know if you need a skills assessment. And your documents are a mess. Guess what happens? They move on. No one's going to wait for you to get your life together. So, before you start applying, make sure you're ready. Your documents sorted, skills assessed, if required, English test booked or passed, and make sure your CV looks like something a hiring manager in Brisbane or Adelaide would actually read. Australia in 2025 is hungry for skilled workers, but not desperate enough to take anyone. If you bring the right skills, a solid plan, and a bit of initiative, you can absolutely make a sponsored visa work for you. Just don't treat it like a lottery. This is a process, a real one, with real rewards. You don't need to be a genius. You just need to be smarter than the system. So, dust off that CV, polish your LinkedIn profile, and start targeting companies who are ready to sponsor. Thanks for watching. If you're looking for a list of employers who sponsor in your industry, drop a comment and we'll hook you up in the next video. And if you've got questions about skills assessments, PR pathways, or visa nightmares you want turned into dreams, hit subscribe, and we'll keep the good stuff coming.